They like trap music, but that's not me. They like pop music, but that's not me. I'm the baby face that will put you in your place, set you up, take it safe, then vanish without a trace. They like Balenciaga, but that's not me. They like Dolce Gabbana, but that's not me. I'm the baby face that will put you in your place, take your girl to your face.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros, the comments made by Robert Garcia. You know Robert Garcia, Mikey Garcia's brother, trainer from Oxnard, California. And basically he said if Manny Pacquiao beats Terence Crawford at age 42, he's the best of all time. So this is an article from World Boxing News. And in this article, it has quotes from Mikey Garcia and Robert Garcia. But the quote we're going to be discussing is from Robert Garcia, where he basically said that if Manny Pacquiao beats Terence Crawford at age 42, he would be the greatest of all time. So, Trill Dollar Bill, do you agree with that statement that if Manny Pacquiao beats Terence Crawford, he'd be the greatest of all time? Of course, this is because they're in negotiations right now. So if the fight happens and he wins.
I want to say, this is what I want to say. I like Robert Garcia. I always praise Robert Garcia, and I think he does a great job with them kids out in Oxnard. And I think that he's a phenomenal trainer. He even trained one of my favorite fighters. That's what really got me liking him. You know what I'm saying? Was the relationship between him and Brandon Rios. You know, just to show you, I remember when he was world champion too. You know what I'm saying? He had heart. You know what I mean? I think he just misspoke. I think this is what happened. I think, you know, you'd be so excited to hear a certain thing. Oh, you know, about the fight. Yeah, you know, and not really thinking, like, he's just thinking that Manny Pacquiao being as great as Manny Pacquiao is, just the allure of Manny Pacquiao. Like, this is Manny Pacquiao. He's not considering Manny Pacquiao's age. He's not considering the wars Manny Pacquiao. He's just talking about the allure of Manny Pacquiao. If you could beat Manny Pacquiao, you'll be the greatest.
No, he was saying Manny Pacquiao beats Terence Crawford.
Manny Pacquiao beats
Terence Crawford. He would.
If Manny Pacquiao beats Terence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, guys. I misunderstood the question. So here's the thing. I think that's bull crap. I think he's already one of the greatest. Active. You know, so erase all that what I just said before. You know what I'm saying? And what is he talking about? This is the great Manny Pacquiao. We call him that now.
Yeah.
The great Manny Pacquiao. Not the greatest, he's great now. Let's give him his flowers now. He doesn't have to fight no Terence Crawford to be one of the greatest. He is already. He didn't have to fight Keith Thurman. He was already the great Manny Pacquiao. He's already did things in the sport that he didn't have to. He could have been retired. He could have retired after Floyd, and we still would have been calling him the great Manny Pacquiao. What is he talking? I think maybe he just misspoke. Maybe he just misspoke. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's thinking, oh, and maybe he says, okay, Manny Pacquiao's age, if he can overcome that after the, all right, cool. But Manny Pacquiao is already great. What would this fight do? If he beats Terence Crawford, it would just solidify what we already know. Pacquiao is great. You know, he doesn't have to prove anything to me. Manny Pacquiao doesn't have to prove anything to nobody. He doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. So that's saying that he will be the greatest. Nah, Manny Pacquiao's already great. He's did everything we have asked of him. And I think Manny Pacquiao, I don't like the fight, be honest with you, and that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows how I felt about that last fight with Keith Thurman.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, I'm looking at it a little different from Trill because Robert was saying if he beats TC, he's the greatest of all time. I understand what Trill's saying. He's already great, but we're talking about of all time. It's like because TC's arguably the best at 147, right? TC's in his prime. I mean, TC's active, you know. So if Pacquiao could defeat TC at 42 years old, oh man, listen, I think that is GOAT status, you know, because right now, you know, there's still an argument that Floyd's the greatest, right? But I think if Manny does this, that to me, I don't know, man. I have to give it to him because even with the Thurman, and you know me, I thought Thurman was gonna wash Manny Pacquiao. I was talking spicy, you know, and Pacquiao pulled off the victory, and I had to say, yo, hats off to Manny Pacquiao. I agree with you, Trill. He could have retired then. You know what I'm saying? But if he wants to seal his name as by far the greatest, if he could beat TC, there's no debates. There's no more like I don't see how people could like make an argument for Sugar, for Floyd, for anybody. You're gonna be like, nah, bro, that's Pacquiao right there. Like Pacquiao by far has to be labeled the greatest of all time if he beats TC, the guy that, you know, has been laying guys out, knocking dudes out at 147 at that. You know, like you may argue about his resume, whatever, but everybody that watches boxing, they know TC is gifted, he's talented. You know, I listen to Robert Garcia on YouTube. He knows what he's talking about, you know, and so he's like a student of the game. And so if he's saying this, I'm thinking the same thing. So, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are going to be like, yeah, yo, Pacquiao has sealed the deal. He's number one when it comes to Mount Rushmore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see anybody else surpassing Pacquiao if Pacquiao pulls that off. That's a major accomplishment, for real. At 42 years old, yo, man, hats off to Manny Pacquiao. So I actually agree with Robert Garcia on this.
TBE.
My thing, I have an issue with the term greatest of all time because it like when you say that, it tries to diminish other fighters, other athletes who are great in a certain time, certain period, and when they accomplish so much. So Pacquiao, just like Trill said, Pacquiao is already great. So I wouldn't go and say he'd be the greatest of all time if he beat TC. He's already great. If he beat TC, that's just another notch in this book to show you how great he is. But to say he's the greatest of all time, you got to look at the greatest fighter of all time. You got to look at all the fighters we've seen in our lifetime. There's so many greats. Like when you look at it, you can't just put him over, can't put Pacquiao over them, and you can't put them over Pacquiao. You just got to accept them that there's a table of champions who are great, and you got to leave it at that. But for me, it would be amazing to see Pacquiao beat TC. Because that for a man at 42 years old to be an elite champion it's just an astonishing accomplishment in itself. For Pacquiao, I would want to see him. I would want to see him do that, and that's all I could say. And it would be dope. But you know what to say, greatest of all time. I just have an issue with that term because there's so many greats we see, and all the time, like there's so much stuff to be done. So a fighter could accomplish so much tomorrow that we can't just say put him greatest of all time. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel you. Now I was gonna say that too. Like I think there's could be more than one, just more than one. You know what I'm saying?
And want to be greatest of all time. That'd just be a bunch of greats.
Because
Greatest
of all times for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got greatest of all time, like, you know, Muhammad Ali, to me, one of the greatest of all times. And people say for the things that he did outside the ring, and it's some of the things that they inside the ring. Then you got Floyd. People will call him the greatest of all time for being undisputed, you know what I'm saying? And not taking no L's, never been knocked out, no draws, no nothing like that. And fighting the most current champions at that time, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, you got Manny Pacquiao, you know what I'm saying, who took losses and came back and stuff like that. I'm rocking with that. I think, you know what I'm saying? I understand where he was coming at. And that's where I was coming from when I was saying, like, you know, Manny Pacquiao, he's already great, you know?
No, I agree. It's all subjective, you know, but I think when you're talking about number one, yo, if he does that to TC, that's a solid argument, bro. That's all I'm saying.
And yeah. But you know, like, and then it'll still have some people that's gonna be like, yeah, and who's TC and who TC fought? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be, you know.
Yeah. So for me, it's evident that who you feel like is the greatest of all time is subjective. The question is, does the person have an argument for greatest of all time is really what we're discussing, because there are several fighters who have an argument for greatest of all time. Floyd Mayweather has an argument for greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson. So the question is, what's your argument, right? And you look at Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao turned professional at 15. Manny Pacquiao was champion in 8 different weight divisions. Manny Pacquiao is the oldest man to ever win the welterweight championship, right? When he beat Keith Thurman. You look at the names on his resume, they're stellar. He beat Eric Morales, Barrera. He beat Cotto. He beat Antonio Margarito. He beat Shane Mosley, Claudia. A laundry list of names in Keith Thurman. And even when you look at his losses, they were still 2 great fighters, with the exception of Jeff Horn, which that fight is debatable. The point is, there lies his argument. Floyd Mayweather has his arguments. Like Trill said, being the most active champions, Floyd Mayweather undefeated. Floyd Mayweather beat some of the biggest names in boxing as well, and that includes Manny Pacquiao. So even if you think Manny Pacquiao's a great, you got to pop in the tape and watch what Floyd did to him. You think Canelo's a great, you got to pop in the tape and watch what Floyd did to him. So there's always going to be those arguments. Now, there's always going to be people who say, yeah, well, he did that to a young Canelo, or he did that to an older Manny Pacquiao, although Floyd's older than Manny Pacquiao. So I never really understood that argument. Like, well, he waited for Pacquiao. Well, he waited to get older because he's older than Pacquiao. So, like, what are you saying? Like, you know, at the end of the day, Floyd
aged differently.
Yeah, Floyd beat someone after Pacquiao fought him. Oh, he did it after Pacquiao. But when Pacquiao beat someone after Floyd beat him, oh, well, he did it better. It's just always like, you know, but again, it's about what you like. Arguments for Ray Robinson and guys of those times, for example, and I'll just pull this up. This is Ray Robinson. And Ray Robinson's record is 174 wins, 19 losses, but only 1 loss by knockout, and 6 draws. So, like, the other thing you have to look at when you go through someone like Ray Robinson's resume is he brought flair to the game. Like, he's like the first fighter to have like flair like that. He had like an entourage where he paid for a lot of things. But I want you to see something about Ray Robinson. Let's go to 1950. 1 fight, 2 fight, 3 fight, 4 fights, 5 fights, 6 fights, 7 fights, 8 fights, 9 fights, 10 fights, 11 fights, 12 fights, 13 fights, 14 fights, 15 fights, 16 fights, 17 fights, 18 fights, 19 fights, 20 fights, 1951 fight, 2 fight, 3 fight, 4 fight, 5 fight, 6 fight, 7 fights, 8 fights, 9 fights. Now you look at it, he's doing 10 rounders here. Then so what was that? 8, 9
a month club.
Yeah. Oh, Obama. Yeah. Now you look, now he's starting to fight 15 rounders. But look at how many fights this guy's having in a year. Well, I want to show you something. Go to his last year boxing, 1965, and he wasn't the same guy. This was like, you know, he was aging, and you see like the majority of the L's are starting to come in his last year boxing, 1965. Look, 1 fight, 2 fight, 3 fight, 4 fights, 5 fights, 6 fights, 7 fights, 8 fights, 9 fights, 10 fights, 11 fights, 12 fights, 13 fights, 14 fights in his last year of boxing, right? And then you see 1 L, 2 L, 3 L's, 4 L's, 5 L's. So let me just tell you, this guy, when people mention him, you have to go back and watch him. He's the pioneer for a lot of the things you see within the sport of boxing. So if you're one of those people who looks at the originator, the creator, the pioneer, like even if you look at Muhammad Ali was trying to be Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson, yeah.
And he loved you. Always said, me and Sugar, we two pretty dancers, you know? So again, you have to look at it like, what do you like? What inspires you? What moves you? And so I think, you know, I'm with Trill when he says that Manny Pacquiao is already one of the greats. And when you say someone's already one of the greats, that means if you said that that person's the greatest, no one would laugh in your face. When you say that someone's already one of the greats, Manny's already one of the greats. If someone came up to me and said Manny Pacquiao is the greatest fighter of all time, I'm not going to laugh in his face and be like, well, what are you, a moron? Do you not know? I'm going to do that. If there's some fighters, if someone came to me and said that, I'll be like, yo, you a clown, get out of here. You know, someone may tell you Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is the greatest. Like, but again, it's, are you one of those guys that you can make an argument for? And I think Manny Pacquiao is already one of those guys you can make an argument for. Now, let's say he beats Terence Crawford. Am I going to say that automatically solidifies him as the undisputed GOAT? No. Let's run. Who did Terence Crawford beat? I saw Andre Ward trying to gas it up. Said, oh, he beat Ricky Burns. Really? Ricky Burns? Ricky Burns. You might as well have beaten Mr. Burns. Stop it. Like, this isn't like you're making Ricky Burns out to be some killer. And he beat Gamboa at a Gamboa. We just seen Gamboa like get beat by Tank. We just seen Gamboa get beat by Devin. Like, come on, man. Like, I could, if Gamboa is what you say he was, he would have been more competitive in those fights. Gamboa was not. So, like, you know, let's not make Gamboa out to be this monster. Then he said, oh, he beat Victor Posto. Okay, Victor Posto. Where is he at now? Oh, he's still going strong now. Like, come on, man, stop it. And so again, oh, and he beat Jeff Horn. Yeah, and Tim Tszyu just murdered him. You understand? And he won that belt in controversial fashion in Australia. That fight's anywhere else but Australia, Manny Pacquiao wins that decision, in my opinion. So let's not be like crazy with this whole thing. And then he beats Kell Brook, and y'all sit there and make like this biggest deal about him. So to me, if Terence Crawford loses, I don't even want to entertain Terence Crawford losing, because to me, he better win. But if he loses to a 42-year-old man who was inactive for 2 years and was already the oldest man to ever win a title, that means Manny Pacquiao would break his record of becoming the oldest man to win a title by winning his title, the WBO title. Your man's the biggest fraud. He's probably even a bigger fraud than Deontay Wilder, because you bought into it. See, a lot of people never bought into Wilder. A lot of people spotted that Wilder con. A lot of people spotted that Wilder fraud from the beginning. But a lot of you really believe TC's that skilled. Although Gamboa touched him up, tagged him up, was winning the fight before he got knocked out. A lot of you think TC's all that. Although Velasquez dropped him. A lot of you really think TC's all that. Although Kell Brook was busting him up until his punch resistance, non-punch resistant having self got dropped with a little short jab. So let me just got hurt with a little short jab. So let me just tell you this. You better hope TC, if this fight happens and TC loses to Manny Pacquiao, there's joke on all your faces, because you got duped. You got duped, and he was worse than Deontay. You ain't got to like me. You just mad because I tell it how it is, and you tell it how it might be. Period.
Please like and subscribe. Let us know how you feel in the comment section. I'm sure you will. And check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.
You know them comments is coming.
You're welcome. You're all welcome.